Welcome back. Last week I told you who I am. This week I want to talk to you about something a little bit different, why your story matters. So if you're a midlife woman over 50 and you're wondering if your stories matter, the Heart Center Entrepreneur and what I'm called here to do is for you. Not mine, your story. I've been a sales and a leadership development coach for years, and it really hit home for me just a couple of years ago. Um, what this meant. So I had shared on social media that I had gained significant weight when my spouse was going through cancer, and that I had lost that weight and gone on several medications for my migraines. And someone sent me a direct message and she said, let's have a chat. I told her it was by learning how to breathe and my own design that helped me to do those two things. And she asked if I could coach her one-to-one. We agreed on a price, and then she instantly e-transferred me. No big build-up here, just a matter of fact. I didn't do anything salesy. I simply shared that I had been struggling and my results. That client had 20 plus years in corporate. She realized she was never going to get the position she wanted, but they were more than happy to have her train and coach the men while telling her she wasn't good enough. Good enough for the title, the salary, or even the congratulations. So, who here needs to hear this today? The woman who has doubted herself and her abilities, the one who wants to feel better in her own skin, the one who has literally hit the glass ceiling in her job and is told in 100 different quiet ways that she isn't enough. If that's you, then this is for you. After 20 plus years, she was just good enough to train other people, just not good enough to get the money, the salary, or the title that went along with that training. And I used to believe in my story too, that my story was just too messy to be useful to anyone, that it wasn't impressive enough to matter. And here's what I know now. I'm worth my pay. When I left my corporate job, I made more money in my first 6 months than I made in the last 2 years before it. I released the weight. I got off 18 different medications by listening to who I really am. And just let that sit with you for a little bit. When I listened to myself, I made more. And something that that client told me that I still carry with me is that she said, I am needed, that my story is needed, that there are too many women staying in a career that they should be training and teaching outside of that career what they've learned instead of being stuck in the inside of it. We are enough. We're good enough. We're smart enough. And we have power within that we didn't even know. We reflect back on what we've accomplished and look with a different lens, we're so much more. I actually have a poster on my wall over here, and it says the power within. And that's the story underneath all my other stories. If you want to see more of them, you can actually go and find them on my other Substacks. I have a daily podcast where I share daily stories. But here's why this matters right now. In a world where AI is literally doing all the heavy lifting, it's those of us who use our voice, our power, who move others forward. So instead of giving up and letting others dictate who we are, we need to stand up, rise up, raise up, and be our true self. Hashtag true self. This hashtag I've actually used for over 17 years, and it's coming more and more true every day. We have stayed hidden so long in our stories. It reminds me right now that I'm a grandma. I'm a mom of six and a grandma of four. And the one thing that my kids, my adult kids, still love the most is hearing stories about themselves, right? And it's always the moms and the grandmas who carry those stories forward. That's our superpower, generation to generation. And I'm so thankful for how far women have come in the last 30 years that I'm still on a mission to change this. We still don't have equal pay. We still don't have the honor of the work that we do. A man at my stage of life can get a cushy management job, while a woman still has to prove who she is and that she can actually do the work. And by the way, that's bull. And here's something I've learned about myself through my design. I have what's called wanting perspective. It means I'm built to look at the group, a community, a business, and instantly notice what's missing, what's needed to make it whole. But in my mind has a trap it likes to pull me into. Instead of calming, noticing what the community needs, it slips into survival, panic, pressure to fix everything right now out of a raw need instead of a clear sight. And I have to keep coming back to what I already know is true: the determination to stay with what brings success, not getting sidetracked by chasing some projected future, but staying anchored in the love of what's in front of me right here, right now. And when the right people find their way to me, and not because I forced it. And this is what I hear in every one of these stories I've shared with you. Abundance was never about frantically fixing everyone else's survival. It's about building a space that carries a different frequency, spirit, emotional abundance. That's how you build a better ecosystem, a community, a team, or your own life. So, how do you actually do this? It comes down to 3 C's: clarity, confidence, communication. Clarity, know you. Confidence, know who you're here for. In communication, how to speak so you get an authentic yes. Without these 3 C's, without knowing your personality, your design, your own method of speaking, you will keep attracting exactly what you don't want. Your story is not too messy or too much or not impressive enough. It's the thing that someone else needs to hear to finally believe they're enough to. And I've spent years building and creating better communities and ecosystems. So if you have a community or a group of people and you're struggling to bring abundance to it, or you need a system to help you, I can help support you in that. You don't have to think small, okay? I'm here to show you it isn't luck. It's the patterns that you've held all your life. So if this landed for you, subscribe and stay with me, and I'll see you next week. This is Jody Maley with the Heart Centered Entrepreneur.